You were granted asylum here in the U.S. Are you grateful for that?
I feel more of like I'm kind of entitled.
And do you think that we should allow illegal aliens to just come into our country?
Yeah. Pretty much, I think anti-immigrant, like in paranoid state of frenzy against immigrants, which is ridiculous. You're saying that immigrants coming here for the healthcare and the education. Why is that a bad thing? You're helping them out.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to be watching Jesse Lee Peterson take on a young man by the name of Amos Yee. Amos is an illegal immigrant who came from Singapore, where he had previously been in jail for insulting religion, a law that they've got over there. More on how he came illegally during this interview, but just for some added context. Amos was 19 during this interview. He's now 25, and he's currently serving 6 years in a Chicago prison for explicit internet content to do with children, we'll just say. Keep in mind that he is serving time in an American institution on the American taxpayer's dime for grooming children. And on to the first part now, which sets the stage really well, where Jesse Lee Peterson asks him a few questions about his upbringing, which reveals that he is basically a spoilt, entitled brat.
Were you raised by your father and mother? Were you living with them growing up, your parents?
Yeah, sure.
And they're Catholics?
Yeah.
And so, what do they think about this sudden change in you?
They were pretty horrified. I think my mom once said that she wanted to like disown me because it was that important to her. Yeah. But I think after we got over it, and right now, ironically, I think she kind of supports me now, so that's good.
And how about your father?
My dad, I think he still disagrees with what I'm doing, but I think he's become like nonchalant about it right now, so.
You have brothers and sisters?
No, single child, so.
Really?
Yeah, so which is why, yeah.
Wow, so their only child went off the deep end.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, sure.
And so were you disappointed when they didn't like what you were doing? What did you think about it? Were you okay with them not liking what you were doing or agreeing with it?
Well, I think I don't mind, I would say, yeah. The good thing about, I think that, yeah, their views are never that important to me. I know like many kids, like their opinions of their parents are important to them,
Right.
but me, I'm just, they weren't important to me, and even if they were, I still think it's worth it to, to continue spreading the truth, regardless of all the pushback, so.
Did they spoil you?
Did they spoil me? Well, what do you mean by that?
You know, like when you were growing up, only child, they gave you everything you wanted. You didn't have to work.
I think, sure. I led a kind of spoiled middle to upper class lifestyle, sure.
Are you rebelling against them?
Am I rebelling against them? I think naturally I am rebellious, especially living in that kind of authoritarian environment where they, so I think, yeah. Especially during my age, I'm rebellious towards them and all kinds of authority. I think I see an appeal in being rebellious.
In short, what is it like growing up in Singapore? I mean, are there a lot of rules and things you have to follow? What is it like growing up there?
Very authoritarian, restrictive. Follow the rules, study, and yeah.
Amazing. And you didn't like that?
Pretty boring. Yeah, I don't like it.
I was once brainwashed too. Out of 15, I usually got 13s and 14s for these essays. I fully admit I was once a PAP dog. But really, all these spread of lies and manipulation, what do you expect from PAP when its leader, its Secretary General, our father, is none other than our Prime Minister, Lee Hsien Loong. Oh, yes. Now I'm going to talk about Lee Hsien Loong. You are going to be in the ass, just like how I was in prison. Lost a court case, got my 53 days of prison, but I'm the government, and I'm them well. So who's losing now, motherfuckers?
You were granted asylum here in the U.S. Are you grateful for that?
Am I grateful for that? I feel more of like I'm kind of entitled to it. Like so yeah. I wouldn't say grateful. So I'm just like yeah. You guys should let me in here. So yeah. So
you feel entitled to asylum here in this country? Why?
I'm pretty much like a pro-immigrant, open border kind of person.
Right.
So,
So why
yeah.
should we let you in though?
Why?
Why you feel entitled to come here? That we should allow you to just come here?
Well, I'm kind of like far left socialist, and so the philosophy of that is just help the people who are in need. So I think, and yeah, and I fit the criteria for asylum here.
And so you're not grateful because you feel entitled?
You could. I'm happy that you guys let me in here. So grateful. Maybe you could use that word. Sure.
This is mind-blowing.
Can we just take a moment to say that Jesse Lee Peterson does not get nearly enough credit for his interviewing abilities? I mean, there are a few people out there that can really draw out somebody's worldview and expose them for exactly what they are, like a Jesse Lee Peterson. I know people think that it's comedy or whatever, but he's actually very good at what he does. So just from this brief line of questioning, we already know so much about this kid. He's a spoiled brat. He's had everything handed to him, and he believes that he's just entitled to whatever he wants and that people should just provide for him because that's what mummy and daddy did.
Yeah.
And he's never had to work for anything in his life, which has instilled in him the mindset of a total freeloader. And the way that he goes about justifying this in his half-formed brain is to say that he's just the far-left socialist, open border type.
Well, I'm kind of like far left socialist, and so the philosophy of that is just help the people who are in need. So
It's not that he's lazy and useless, it's just that he's compassionate and he's a truth-telling rebel, a revolutionary. Maybe a few years in the slammer amongst hardened criminals who don't take too kindly to kiddie fiddlers might be the best thing for him. So with that, let's carry on now and have a look at Amos's views on the American immigration system. Before we get there, guys, do not forget to like this video if you're enjoying this content and subscribe to the channel if you're getting value from what we do here. Let's get into it.
And so were you let in under President Trump or Obama administration?
I was let in just a few months after. Yeah, Trump administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which many people say that the reason why I was there so long is perhaps due to like the pro-Trump, the anti-immigrant sentiments that Trump created with his administration. So that could be a factor.
The reason you were where so long?
Well, I was in jail.
Oh, so once you came here because you were an immigrant, you were in jail for a while.
Yeah, because that's the horrible thing about the immigration system, which most Americans don't know, is that they treat you as a threat before you prove otherwise.
Right.
And so you have to basically fight a court case while in jail.
Oh, okay.
And during that whole court case, you have to be in jail, which is absolutely ridiculous.
How did they find out you were here? Because you just came in, you flew in, and did you turn yourself in or something? How did they know you were in this country?
How did I?
I
just came in completely legally with a passport, and then in the airport, I was just, I didn't think that if I told them I wanted to immigrate here, they would arrest me. And so once I was in the airport, I was like, yeah, I want to come in here and immigrate. Yeah, which is very weird, because if I effectively sneaked in past the customs and then I applied for asylum, I wouldn't be sent to jail.
Right.
But since I told them right at the airport, then I had to spend the time in jail and wait for my court case to finish, then go out. So it's a pretty horrible immigration system. Yeah.
Are you going to stay here, or are they going to grant you citizenship?
Maybe in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
So in what universe is it justified for America to be hosting and paying for a criminal like this? Not just an illegal immigrant, but also his online adventures with minors. How is it justified that a single taxpayer cent should go toward this cretin? Yeah, I mean, the immigration system is horrible, but it's only horrible because they didn't put you on a little wooden raft with one single paddle and say, go on, son. Row, row, row your boat gently back to Singapore. And then he talks about only 0.1% of them are criminals. Well, how about every single person who comes across that border illegally, including your useless ass, is a criminal from day one? And just think about this. If he gets these sorts of liberties and luxuries without being deported, just think about how many millions and millions of people would be in America as we speak doing the exact same thing. manipulating the system and leeching off the already struggling American taxpayer for their own benefit. We already know that since this interview, which was 6 years ago, the amount of people coming through the southern border has exploded, and the country is dealing with this fentanyl epidemic. This is literally destroying this once great nation, and it's a huge reason as to why Donald Trump is just so appealing. Build the wall, close the border, deport the illegals. Let's carry on to the last bit.
So what do you think of Donald Trump immigration policy? I know you just said it's bad, but what do you think of President Trump's immigration policies?
Oh yeah, they're horrible. And I mean, yeah, basically it's been all anti-immigrant, deport, lots of mass deportations, preventing people from coming in. Yeah, I think it's absolutely horrible.
And do you think that we should allow illegal aliens to just come into our country?
Yeah. yeah. No, that's the very bad thing. They say that you know, you let people from more dangerous countries come in, it increases the crime rate, and that's the thing. Like, what, 0.1% of the people who come in are actually a threat, and they increase the crime rate. But 99.9% of the people, the illegal people who come in, they benefit the economy. They lead a much more better life than they did in other countries. So I think there's a far bigger net benefit to letting these immigrants in.
But they don't enhance the country. They come in and they drain the system. They rely on the government for free housing, free food, free education, free everything. So you have illegals coming into your country and you don't know who they are. You have criminals and drug dealers and drugs and all kinds of MS-13 gang members coming in. Why should we allow that into our country?
The bad people who don't contribute, who rape and do crimes or whatever, is a very small percentage.
But how do you know that?
How do I know that?
Yes.
Stats and like general common sense, I think. What are you saying, that what majority of the illegal people who come in are dangerous,
yes,
bad people?
absolutely.
Nah, I don't think that's true.
No, it's absolutely true.
How is it true?
They,
like a stat?
Just the other day, a driver, illegal from El Salvador or somewhere.
You see, that's the thing. You guys always like take these anecdotal stories and you all make it seem like these small, isolated cases represents a huge immigration problem when they just make up like 0.1% of the people who come in here, whereas 99% of the illegal immigrants, they're all benefiting the economy and leading a good, better life that they have here.
They're not. They're not good workers or anything.
Well, I think that especially in LA, there are like many.
I'm sorry?
Especially in LA, there are like many jobs where immigrants like do and provide that generally benefits the economy, especially in LA, because. So
Well,
yeah.
most of them send their monies back to the countries that they came from.
Even if that were true, I don't see a much big problem with that.
So
yeah, I don't look at it in a way that okay. I look at it in a way that you let immigrants in, you manage to help more people in the world, as opposed to just thinking about yourself.
But we do
in a
let them
country.
in. We let them come into the front door and not the wide open door, just walk across the border. So they do come in, but we need to put, are you for the wall around the borders? President Trump is going to put up a big, beautiful wall.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. Just a complete waste of money. So, yeah. You're pro-Trump for the wall, I assume?
100%.
Huh.
Big, and I want it to be big and beautiful and a white wall.
Interesting. Okay. Nice.
Are you surprised that I'm for that?
Nah, black conservative, so I get that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What do you get about that?
That you're for the wall. You're pretty much, I think, anti-immigrant, like in paranoid state of frenzy against immigrants, so, which is ridiculous, but yeah. That's another thing we strongly disagree on, I guess.
How is it that you come into a country that protect you from your country, and you don't have a sense of appreciation for it?
How do I guess I do appreciate if you want me to. I guess I do appreciate you guys letting me come here, but yeah,
You're not sure.
in a way, I feel entitled too, I guess.
You feel entitled?
Yeah.
And what caused you to feel entitled? Why should we be happy to have you here?
I think basically a socialistic mindset is you should just feel good if you help other people. So as you said, like before, you're saying that people immigrants come in here for the healthcare and the education, why is that a bad thing? You're helping them out. They're leading a life far better than they would be in like the Middle East or some hellhole they're in. Why shouldn't you feel happy?
Why shouldn't they stay there and fight for their country, to improve their country? Why should we take all these people from the S-hole countries?
Because they're leading far worse and horrible lives. That's why they came here, to lead a much better life. And I think America should welcome them in and you know, feel good that we're helping them with healthcare and education instead of, oh, they're leeching off of us. It's ridiculous.
So I'll end it there. I mean, needless to say, guys, close the damn borders. Stop allowing people to come in and leech off your government. People that are actively and happily contributing to the downfall of your country. It's just mind-boggling and honestly depressing that that is allowed. And this interview does go longer, and if you go to Jesse's channel, you can see it. But honestly, he talks openly about his view that it should be okay to engage in sexual acts with children and also animals, which I don't really want to go over and talk about, if I'm honest. This guy is obviously a total scumbag and should not be afforded the luxury of a plane ticket home. Like I said before, little wooden raft, one single paddle. Row, row, row your boat. Or maybe he should be dealt with by his cellmate. Either way works for me. Anyways, guys, if you have not liked the video, make sure to do that below. Subscribe to the channel. And if you guys would like to find my links or my socials, they're going to be right below there. And if you'd like to watch another one, right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.